Going to be creating a flower trail that will create and plant flowers as we walk. So first, a quick demonstration. This one will plant 10 flowers behind me as I walk. You turn around, you see I've created this flower trail of random flowers, and it plants dirts so that we can know that we can, or it creates dirt underneath me so that we know that we can actually plant the flowers as well. So we're going to go show how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and delete my creation right now. So the first thing we're going to do is define our function. And I care about how long it is. So I'm going to set the default length to 10, and I care about what type of flower I'm planting. And I'll have my default flower be a blue orchid. And eventually we'll get to the array part of this, but testing happens a little at a time. Okay, and so now what I want to do in order to plant 10 flowers behind me, if I just run the command 10 times, then it's not looking to see if I've moved. So what I want to do each time is get my position. So the very first thing I need to do is set an old position. And I'm going to set that to my position. And what this is doing is allowing us to compare where we were the last time it checked to where we are right now. So all I'm doing is setting that as my very first thing before I start laying down any flowers. I just want to check where I am and compare it to where I was to see if I have moved. Now the next thing I want to do is create a loop that counts how many flowers we've planted. So I want to say while my length is less than, or while I is less than my length, I'm going to do some stuff. And right now I'm just going to print flower as a test to make sure that I'm running my while loop correctly and everything works. And then it's important to note here that if I'm running this while I is less than my length, I need to actually test my length. And let me check here something real quick. While length, oh, that's what I have. I knew it was different than that. While length is greater than, well, I still have length left in my flower trail. I'm going to print flower. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and print length. That way I can see it count down. But what's important to note here is that if I'm doing it this way, I also need to be decreasing my length. So I'm going to write length equals length minus 1. And that is take 1 away from length. Only I'm going to change the way I've done this. And I'm going to say length plus equals -1. That means the same exact thing. It just means add -1 to length and set that back to our length. And so I'm going to save this. Down here I have flower trail running as part of my program, so I'm going to run it. Oh, and it tells me that I did an old-fashioned style of print length. And I should get printing out of equal to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You'll note up here that I have some more printing out. That's because I'm doing some debugging on the actual Python libraries to try and make them more up to date. So that'll be in there as a little bit noisy. It shouldn't be for you. There we go. has 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is exactly what we wanted to have. So now, instead of doing that, we want to plant a flower each time. So in order to plant a flower, I want to first see if my position has updated. And so I'm going to say if old position is not equal to my position, I want to do some things. And we want to move our length into here because we only want to update our length if we've moved positions, because that's the only reason we're going to plant a flower. So I need to do two things. I need to change the dirt that I was standing on, or the block that I was standing on, my old position, to dirt. And then I need to put a flower where I was standing. So the first thing I'm going to do is place the dirt. And in order to do that, I need to read these things and copy both of these over. So this first one, I placed the dirt on the block that I was standing on. You'll note here that I subtract 1 from my old position. So I do old position.y minus 1. That's so that it's not the block I'm on, but the block that I was standing on becomes dirt. And then the block that I was becomes a flower. So let's go ahead and run this. And we should get something similar to the very first example I created, only now it's only going to be blue orchids. So I'm going to go up here to another level. I'm going to run flowertrail. Right now it's just telling you where I am each time. And if we look behind, I only have 1 blue orchid. Why did that happen? Let's go over here. Oh, that's why. Okay. So we did everything. We looked to compare our old position to our new position. We planted the block at our old position, and we did not update our old position to be our current position. So our old position is now our current position. And so what it did was it planted 10 flowers right in that same old position because it never moved it as we moved forward. Now it's important to note that I am setting my old position after I update everything because I don't want to plant the block directly underneath me. I want to plant it behind me. So that's the only difference where we create our old position matters here, is if I were to have set this old position here before I started placing the block, then the flowers would place directly underneath my feet, and I don't want it to place underneath my feet. I want it to place the block that I was just standing on. So let's go ahead and run this code again. And again, this kind of debugging is why we run and test our code constantly, because they're little easy to find errors when it's a small bit of code. But once your code's gotten massive, it becomes a lot harder to find the errors in all of the things that you changed. Okay, so now I'm going to walk again. And I should have created a trail behind me. Now you'll see that sometimes I managed to walk fast enough that it didn't go directly behind me. It skipped 1 or 2. That's just a matter of how quickly we're updating the old position and comparing them. But I am fairly pleased with my collection of orchids here. But this is boring, and I'd like to create a more diverse biome. So I also want the option of passing in an array. And by default, we're going to have an array. So I'm going to make my flowers be none. That means by default, there is no flower pasted. I do still want people to be able to run around populating a place with a particular flower. And I will also have a flower array. And that by default will also be nothing. And what I'm going to do, I could set a default flower array up here that was all of the possible flowers, but that's just a bit messy. So when I come down here in my actual code, I'm going to say if not flower and no, there, if not flower and not flower array. This means if we don't have a flower and we don't have a flower array, I'm going to go ahead and set my flower array. I'm going to copy this flower array that I already have written, which isn't all of the flowers. As you can see, I only got to C. I will leave that as an exercise for the reader. So I have my flower array that right now is just ALLIUMs, azure bluettes, blue orchids, and cornflowers. And this will only set if the user doesn't pass forward a flower or a flower array. So it's the equivalent of doing a default. And now down here, I need to determine what my flower is before I can set it. So if we do have a flower array, then we're going to say that our flower for this time is equal to, and I got to go look up the exact phrasing. There we go. Random.choice flower array. That means we're going to choose a random element, a semi-random element from flower array. And then that's going to become our new flower for this set. And we want to put this in our while loop because we want to choose a different flower each time. If we wanted to randomly pick which flower we were going to use for all of our flower trail, then we would set the flower outside of the flower loop. But because I want a different flower each time, I'm putting my flower picker inside of the while loop. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to get somewhere where we can see that I've done something. I'm going to go ahead and run the code again. I'm going to walk. And as you can see, we have our variety of flowers back again. Now, if I want to test and make sure, it would be good to go ahead. Now I can see that the dirt's planting because it's all turned up. But if I just want to be double sure that I'm doing everything right, I'll come over here to this granite and I'll run it again. Or cobblestone probably is more likely what that is. And as you can see, I've got flowers planted on the cobblestone back here. Now, if you didn't want to disrupt the stone and you only wanted to plant things on the grass, then you would either look and see what tile that is, because you can actually get the block and only plant if it's dirt, or if you wanted to be lazier, you would just drop flowers behind you and either they would grow or they wouldn't. Now I'll note that you can take this same thing and create a diamond trail for yourself. So I can copy this whole thing over. And I'll just call it trail because I want to change what I send over. I'll still have a length and I'll have a block equals dirt. I don't need to have my little if statement here because this is simpler than that. But I could have, and actually I will have that. We'll make it fancier than that. So get rid of our dirt. And then I'll have if not block and not block array. And I want my block array to be, and we'll make it like diamond and emerald. There we go. I'm keeping my position the same, and the thing is I'm not going to set, I need to move my if block array, or if flower array that's going to become block array, up above where I set the block, and then I can get rid of the flower stuff. And so update this to be block array, and block. And then I don't want this to be dirt, I want this to be block. And we'll see if it runs. So down here I want to run trail instead of flower trail. So I walk, and it says it did not like something. Let's see what it didn't like. Old position equals my position. Says it failed to get the entity tile position. I think this might actually be something that was a one-time issue because we didn't have problems with that before. So let's try this one more time. Nope, it failed again. So what did I change between the two of these that means that my position is now suddenly failing? I don't think I changed anything. Let's hop down here. Because it's getting my position fine here, and it's failing there. I'm setting my old position, so let's do this a little bit easier. Let's comment out this code right here. Okay. And we are just looking to see if I've moved and updating the length. Looks like it did fine that time. It didn't print because we didn't have it print, but it also didn't error out, which means it went through things. But we'll double check by printing length. Nope. Apple save. And then run that again. We'll walk. And yep, you can see that it printed out our length and it didn't have any issues with that. Okay. So now, get rid of that, uncomment this stuff, and since it was having a hard time with finding my position, I'm going to go ahead and comment just that one bit out. We know it's not going to work this way because it's just going to put one block over and over again in the same place, but we can see if we error out this way. And we did. And it's having a hard time getting that tile position in order to place a block there. Let's replace this block with dirt, which is what it was before, and see if it works. And we'll go ahead and uncomment out this. My guess is that it doesn't like something about diamonds. Yep, it's planting the dirt just fine. So now, oh, let me keep walking here for a minute. Okay, there we go. Now let's replace this dirt with diamond. Maybe the blocks that I'm placing, one of them isn't actually a block it knows about. It did not like diamond. Let's try cobblestone. It was fine with cobblestone, as you can see. Let's try emerald. It does not like emerald or cobblestone. So that's our issue. So if I change this back to block, and I'm going to try diamond ore and emerald ore. And we're going to see if that works. So, and those work. There we go. Not as good as diamond. My guess is we'd have to go look up what the exact things was. Maybe it's a diamond block, maybe it's something else, and figure out how to correct that. Block of diamond, I'm told that it is. I think my informant is probably wrong, but we're going to try it. Nope, my informant is wrong, but while we're at it, we'll go ahead and try diamond block. And despite my informant being positive that I was completely wrong, that is successful. And so that goes to show you a little bit about our debugging and how to do things and how you can take this and do other things. You could create entire interesting biomes out of this by planting different types of trees and flowers and grass seeds. You could go make some fortresses or rebuild your fortresses by creating some great air. If we run it and we jump, you'll see that we get some height here, and a block will form under where we were because it looked at where we were comparing things. So there's all sorts of things that you can do with it.